just never, ever let it go. It was like they got ahead, they stayed ahead, they won the game.
They controlled the game perfectly, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was just perfect control throughout the whole game. And that's one of the reasons why we didn't see too many kills either. I mean, Goblack's saving a lot, but they never went for super aggression, just trying to get kills after kills after kills. They just knew, like, we can push now, we can't push now. And when they could push, it was just like, go to the base.
Well, once again, we're joined by the stat man himself and James.
What's my nickname?
What?
Oh, he's got a cool nickname.
Well, he's a stat man. It says it right next to him, look.
Too good, right? That's what you want people telling you. I am missing something. I was like, yeah, I'm missing something in my ear. Well, there we go. This is, by the way, the most uncomfortable mic I've ever seen in my life. But it's okay. You're
It's
too
okay.
good.
I don't need your compliments.
You kind of want them.
Only on bad days. When my hair
But
is
today's a
bad.
good day, right?
Oh, well, actually, I don't have bad days. I wake up and I'm awesome.
You're awesome. That's great.
Just like DD Dota.
They're playing really well. I have to say that was a really nice segue. But
Thank you.
it was very different to the games that we saw Didi Dota play against Empire. Against Empire, they were very strong from the get-go. They just punish everyone's mistake. This was more of a game of, we have the advantage, we can control, we just wait and see. There was not a single moment where AL was in control of the game.
Yeah.
There was a moment about 15 to 20 minutes where they were so close to getting a kill, and they could never, ever get a single kill because the trend was there.
Yeah.
I would have been so mad. Like, that's like the worst feeling in the world.
Would you say you've been fucking mad?
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, going back to how they played versus Empire, I think Empire, with the supports, kind of let themselves down.
Yeah.
AL play a little bit more solid, but again, we see DD just make the correct moves on what they've gone for in terms of picks. Now, I think the most interesting thing out of DD, and what people are not able to do, is the ban and pick phase, the drafting against them. DD seem to get what they want. They confuse their opponent, which is huge before we go to the laning stage. We saw a Tinker, and look, he's mid, but he couldn't go mid because of OD. And Enigma off lane with the Treant protector helping him out just allowed him to stay in the lane. So it's DD to me, they're playing everything in game well, but I think the big advantage that they have on the other teams is just the drafting.
Yeah.
It's really powerful in terms of what they're coming out with and how they're using it.
That's also one of the advantages of having not played that many official games recently. I mean, we've been talking about DD, how in paper they're really strong. You saw them screaming. But they haven't been playing many official tournaments. And that means for sure that they were preparing a few strats. They're understanding how the game works. I mean, they're a new team in the sense that they have 2 new members. That changes, of course, the whole dynamic of how the team plays. So they've been practicing. They say, okay, this is what works for us. This is what we want. These are some of the heroes that are really good for us that most people do not expect us to see. I mean, not only Tree, but Enigma is not a common pick these days. I mean, you have Magnus, which most people say like it's Enigma but better. But they got it there. They put it on the off lane where it was okay. Actually, it was really strong because he could pretty much 1v1 anyone with Eidolons and the Tree armor. So very, very wise decision. OD again, a hero that's don't normally see right now, particularly because of Lifestealer. Lifestealer pops rage and your OD does nothing. But if you want to secure the laning stage, you just put him there, and suddenly you have a really strong hero.
I felt the Lone Druid mid, though, was a decent decision. Because
Yeah.
at least, even if he puts you under, your
Well,
bear
but
can
the
still
fact
get
that
nothing.
they forced the Lone Druid going mid suddenly meant that they had to just rotate all the pieces, and the mental image they had of how the game would have gone,
Yeah.
it was now completely different, and they were caught off balance, and they started at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to do. Every stage of the game as a professional gamer, you want to control your opponents. So you want to control them, not just in game in terms of deciding, like, if we do this, they're going to have to react to this tower, or if we start doing this, if you're in control of the game, but also in control of the drafting.
Yeah.
And it's a huge factor in Dota 2. DD looking really good in their drafting phase in the first game between absolute legends. On paper as well, not on paper, but in terms of what we've seen out of them today, they do look stronger. They
Yes.
haven't been, pushed to their limits yet. I think AL have showed a pretty, they were quite happy playing their game, farming. AL are pretty good at controlling the map and where they go and the farm they get. But they're going to need to come out with something a little special here, AL. They either need to disrupt the drafting and mess with DD, but they might not have the knowledge. But in-game as well, they need to up it.
Yep.
Because if they do, they'll take a game. If they don't, probably 2-0.
I just want to say one thing. How do you mess with a team who picks OD and Tree as their second and third picks? How do you mess with that team?
You pick Slark.
Well, that's
bad.
important. They
That's their
first ban
hero.
Slark.
Oh, wait.
Drow Ranger, Bristleback.
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 Yeah.
And Tusker, yeah.
And
Coddle
Spectre.
Bristleback.
Carry.
And Dragon Knight.
And
That's Silencer.
and Shadow Shaman.
Oh, it's
and
purple.
Lion. And Pugna.
Yeah, good.
And
Joke.
Bounty. You have a
Is that just a
six-man
pile of like
roster.
semi-common picks or something like that? You just have a pile of heroes over there
and
that sometimes picked.
Windy Bear.
Yes, Windy Bear, the new
Friend
hero. Wait
of
for it. 6.79.
Honey Bear. What?
You can't run from heaven, James.
I don't believe in heaven.
He's your god
But
too.
heaven is, I'm your god too. Respect me, James.
Your Facebook page is very funny, but no.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
So, should we go for a little break and get medication? No? Straight back in? Is it-
Yeah,
Alright.
let's... Okay, let's do one more stats. Because it's really cool, stats, It's kind of like
Kids love
what
stats.
I do. Yeah. I just see numbers and talk about the numbers. And wow, that's a very stretchy face.
Wait, a long
So-
face.
Yeah.
didn't know Funzy was like a Siamese twin. No wonder they're
It's
winning.
like the two-headed dragon.
Yeah, no wonder
That's-
they're winning. It's like 6v5. He's got someone timing Roshan
There's some
stuff for him.
ogre magi thing going on there.
Yeah.
Andy, please do an ogre magi. Put
You can't just put me on the spot like that, man.
Oh, just
Come on, all right,
just
hold
do
on,
it
all right,
anyway.
let's do one. Was that a squirrel? Come on.
He's got
Yeah,
it.
round of applause.
Yay!
I can't applaud myself.
You can. It's wrong, but you can.
It is wrong. It's like laughing at your own jokes.
Fanzi currently playing the solo mid role, but often played also the 1 and 3 position. We see one of his best heroes in terms of how good he farms. Gyrocopter, of course, but also look at that Storm Spirit. How rare is it to see a player with a 12 kill, 4 death average on a Storm Spirit? 479 gold per minute, that's a lot. You give him that hero and he surely will control you. And of course the other heroes like Nature's Prophet or Lone Druid, also interesting, but he used to play a good Broodmother. I don't think we will see any Broodmother picks. I mean, they're crazy, they pick Treant Protector, they pick Enigma. Going as far as Broodmother, and especially mid, I don't think
Yeah.
so. But all times, and stats never forget.
He's got like the coolest name, by the way. Thibault.
Thibault Cologne.
That's like,
Cologne.
it's like a mob boss name, man.
Yeah.
I
Watch
mean,
out,
you're like the
here comes Thibault.
Argentinian mafia, but he's mafia too. Better watch
Yeah.
out.
I'm Argentinian, but I have kind of like a Venezuelan soap opera kind of name.
Yeah,
Bruno
that's true.
Luciano Nicolas. That's my name. It's really like, wow.
Yeah, that's like, why aren't you on TV? Well, you're technically on TV
Yeah.
right now, but it's like
This is TV.
You're famous.
I'm famous, mommy.
the self-reassurance coming out from James. We're totally famous.
My mum knows who you are. She watches the show.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, so you're famous. If my mum knows who you are, you're famous.
Almost famous. Okay, so without a break, we're moving to game 2. And James, do you think AL has to do something different? Of course, they have to do something
No, I
different.
would like them to just get, lose. No. Drafting phase is still big. And as Andy mentioned, yeah, it's hard. If you don't have the knowledge on DD and you don't know what they're doing, it's troublesome. AL, this game means everything. You win it to tie it back up. I don't think they should play like a normal game, like not like just like something pretty standard, because I think that's what DD is strong against. So I want AL to come out with something a little special. Maybe they got a pocket strat, and if they do, bring it out now. and
Look
tie
at
up the
that
game.
first ban. Just
Oh
straight
my
away.
God.
Wow.
We do not want to miss any more kills. Booyah.
Slammed in.
Andy, you go.
I go. Okay, so it's game number 2, as James said. A lot on the line for both of these teams. This is a last-ditch effort here from Absolute Legends to stay on the upper part of the bracket. You really do not want to get knocked down. Sure, it's the second game this time, not as big of a deal, but still going to be a long road ahead of you if you end up losing here. But DD, they've given me no reason to doubt them this entire day. Like, their draft, their play overall has just been, for the most part, fantastic. They have made very, very limited mistakes. And when they do it at points where they're so far ahead that it just simply doesn't matter. And yes, Bruno is now realizing that, hey, we didn't pull all this stuff off of the mini-map, so forget about that. It's fine. This is fine. But we're into game 2 now, Wepos. Absolute Legends, they need a win here.
Like you said, DD's pretty much been playing flawlessly the whole day. They've won 3 games in a row now. Haven't really looked like they're about to lose the games either. It's just been complete control over the games, constantly. I mean, even if you get picked off, even if you lose some kills, lose some towers, they just like complete control every game. And now with that Treant ban being the first, there's so many arrows open. And this is one of the picks that I've seen in their scrims. They love picking Bane as a first pick. They really rate that hero super high. And he's really good against Lifestealer as well.
Yeah, they're going to get their hands on it this game, and we're going to have an opportunity to maybe see a Slark again, because they're starting to favor banning Treant Protector over, of course, that very elusive Slark. But it's going to be the purple twins so far, Bane and Darkseer, both pretty similar color schemes, so they already got that going for themselves. But, of course, Darkseer is great, actually, against Lifestealer, too, just to be able to surge people out whenever they get open wounds. You can drop a wall, perhaps make a clone of him, and just overall disruption, and a hero who can get a very, very fast mech, and overall Darkseer is like a solid choice 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, he's always really good to run in the long lane if you want that. He can always get farm, can rotate into the jungle if you actually can't get anything on the long lane, which is also very, very good. It's just so hard to stop a Darkseer from farming, unless you pretty much ward every camp in the jungle and just keep on ganking him in the bottom lane. Then you might be able to stop him, but he's always going to be able to get some farm. Getting an Arcane Boots up, maybe even if he gets a good farm, get a mech up as well. He's always very, very strong to have on a team.
Now 2 more coming out from the side of Absolute Legends, and they're going to take Slark. So they're taking a page out of DD's book here, so Miguel's not going to get his hands on it again today.
What?
Oh, Ale, I
This is
had
the
it
exact
backwards.
same draft
yeah,
I had
okay.
in-
Okay, I had it backwards.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My brain's lagging today, guys.
It's
Forgive
their
me.
fault though, because
Yeah.
they said DD had Slark.
Yeah. I was like, what? And then, yeah, whatever. It's Slark going to be on the side of Ale, so it will be Miguel actually playing it again. And they have the Lone Druid and the Lifestealer, which you pointed out is a similar draft to what we saw earlier. So they're going to be against a Darkseer and a Bane. The nice thing about Slark is that Bane doesn't really do anything to Slark at all. You can just go into the fight, Fiend's Grip, can get broken by Dark Pact, and then you're a very sad Bane.
You're forced to buy an early gem as well. Because Bane, yeah, you can Nightmare yourself, and then he just Dark Pacts you, and you're dead anyways. But we're actually going to see a Queen of Pain in the first 3. Sometimes we see it, not too often. Usually we see it in the second phase, or it's banned out. But we're going to see it here, so Queen of Pain most likely going to run mid against a Slark. And I do like that a lot, because Slark can take so much harassment early on. It's when he hits level 6, that's when he's really annoying to just try and harass out of the lane, because you can run into the jungle, lose vision, and then just regen up full HP instantly. But now you have a Queen of Pain that's going to be able to throw the Shadow Strike all the time, and just try and force the Slark out of lane and just make sure he doesn't get any farm whatsoever.
Well, Ale have pretty much pulled out all the stops. They've gotten their niche hero, if you want to call it that, and DD are doing the best that they possibly can to counter it. Honestly, before 6, like you were saying, I don't think a Slark's going to do well against a Queen of Pain. Just any melee hero. You're not going to have the regen. It's not like a mag where you can just sit in the lane and casually throw out shockwaves to help counter push and help get yourself some farm. It's going to be like you're going to walk to a creep, maybe get the CS, and then lose half your HP. Like, that's a pretty big difference. So we'll see how well that Miguel is able to play this against the Queen of Pain coming out from DD. But so far, the tankiness of AL's team is pretty huge. Lone Druid, Lifestealer, even Slark to an extent is pretty difficult to focus down. And then DD, they've got 2 kind of tanky heroes. Bane has pretty good stat gain. Darkseer obviously goes for the mech. And then highly mobile hero and the Queen of Pain. So I'm kind of curious as what supports Ale are going to go with, because now it's in the second ban phase. Bane's already taken away because DD picked it, and they banned out the Shadow Demon.
A Leshrac would be really good to get, just because he's such a strong support, but they're actually going to ban them themselves, which is a bit surprising. They might just go for Lina instead, unless DD, of course, bans that out, because Lina always works well with the Lifestealer. I think we've seen it most of the games together with the Lifestealer. During all the games we've seen where we had a Lifestealer, but DD really needs some physical damage at this point. I mean, Queen of Pain can do some physical damage in the late game if you build her as a semi-carry with an MKB, maybe going into Mjolnir if you really need her to be the right clicker. But at this point, it's just mostly magic damage. And the Lone Druid, as soon as he hits level 6, he's going to get really tanky. And then you got the Lifestealer with the Infest as well as Rage. So it's just going to be really hard for them to kill off these 3 core heroes. So they really need to get some good physical damage going.
We'll see what their choices are going to be here. DD taking their time. They're going to go ahead and ban out Alina, so not giving away the Lifestealer. Alina, pretty common ban, I would say, and since AL already took out the Leshrac themselves, no reason to let that hero go into the pool and give them even more aggressive potential. So 2 more bans coming out, 1 from each team, then we're going to get into the second pick phase. But I still got to say, like AL, they got some really, really durable heroes, but they don't necessarily have the greatest laning phase yet. They really need supports at this point. And Bane, definitely one of the best in the business that DD has taken away from them. We can already see that Slark against Queen of Pain probably not going to be the greatest matchup. So do you still expect a Lifestealer aggressive lane, put maybe the Lone Druid in the safe lane, have him just farm, or do you think that the Lone Druid might still go off lane in this position?
You kind of still want to run the aggressive tri-lane with the Lifestealer. The problem is most of the aggressive supports are banned out, or the 2 strongest ones, Leshrac and Lina, are both banned out. You can still do with the Jakiro and something else, but it's just so hard to be able to get that damage out. There is still, though, a Gyrocopter in the pool.
Yeah.
So we might see a Gyrocopter support. Oh, no, sorry, he's actually banned out. I just missed him. He was banned out in the first phase. But then there's like really hard to get some aggressive supports going. So it'll be hard for him to get good kill potential, and now Kato being banned out as well. So the damage on the aggressive tri-lane is pretty much going to be non-existent, and now we go for a Rubik. So this is looking more like in a defensive tri-lane, but it's still, you're going to lose so much farm on the Lone Druid then.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a really interesting situation for AL. Maybe they decide to just put 2 mid instead. Maybe give the Slark a little bit of breathing room, at least until he hits 6. That way he can just take the harassment, doesn't have to worry about 1 Shadow Strike pretty much ending his laning phase, because that's really what it feels like whenever you're a melee hero playing against Queen of Pain. You get like the 1 or 2 CS and you're like, yeah, and then you look at your health bar and you're like, I'm dead, and you can't really do anything about it. So we'll see how this ends up playing out. But one more support actually needed by DD as well. It's like Bane, currently the only support on the side of DD. They're going to be looking at least 1 more, I would hope. And then Absolute Legends needed 1 more themselves. And they're going to pick up a Naga Siren. So a hero that we haven't actually seen in quite a while, at least not me personally, in games that I've casted. But we were talking about her the other day, actually, comparing her not necessarily quite as powerful as a PL can be late game, but kind of the same idea. You know, you get your Diffusal Blade, you get a Manta, your images actually scale reasonably well, and the nice thing about Naga is that her images are on demand. Like, you can choose when they come out, and you can take your fights based on that.
And you have the minus armor, of course, as well, so the image is going to hit quite hard. But this is one of the heroes that Goblag like to run. They ran it quite a bit when they ran the aggressive tri-lanes of Empire. They like to run the Naga Siren in the aggressive tri-lane together with a Bane and maybe a Jakiro, or just overall being super aggressive. They like to run it with the Coddle as well. Coddle, though, being banned out right now, so we're not going to see that. But Goblag likes that hero still, because it's such a good setup. And we're actually going to see a Disruptor being the last pickup here for AL, so this is just super defensive from them. And I would be really surprised if they run the Lone Druid in the safe lane. But like I mentioned out, or like I pointed out, Lone Druid is not going to get a lot of farm if they run him in the off lane.
And definitely not, because if the Naga spots you out, or if you get slept, you're just dead. Like, there's not any way you're going to be able to escape from that. You're going to get ensnared in place, which is one of the best disables, pretty much, in my opinion, that you can get. Sure, you can still auto-attack and whatnot, but it's like, it goes through BKB, it interrupts, and you have to basically just stand there and take whatever punishment unless you have a Ghost Scepter, which most carries aren't going to be rushing. Maybe the Lone Druid would get it, because that's actually more common on him than it would be on something like a Slark or a Lifestealer. But how annoying is it to rage and then just be netted? Be like, well, I'm sad.
It's kind of annoying to not do anything. It's kind of like you rage and you get overgrowth.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do I do now? can't really do anything. I'm a melee hero, can't catch up to anyone. So it's kind of annoying, but we're going to see actually an Enigma being the last pick up here. So the question is now, are they going to have enough physical damage coming out of this Naga Siren to be able to bring down all the heroes in AL? And will they be able to get the perfect setup for the big wombo combo in this game?
Well, it's not just silence damage, really. I mean, even Midnight Pulse adds a pretty good amount of damage. You're going to have Funzy on Queen of Pain, who has some inherent burst of his own. Vacuum Ion Shell isn't really seen as like a huge damage combo, but just the positioning that you can get with it is what's going to be key here. And then Goblak able to lock people down with potentially a Fiend's Grip and such. I think his life is actually going to be the hardest, because if Rise goes for the 1-4-1 build, maxing Glimpse, how is he ever going to Fiend's Grip anybody? He's going to walk into position, Fiend's Grip, immediately it gets canceled out from anywhere from, depending on what rank it is, of course. I think it scales at like 400 per rank in terms of distance, but at level 4, it's 1800 cast range. So if you're Goblak, good luck ever getting a Fiend's Grip off when that Disruptor gets levels.
You kind of need a BKB against this team to be able to get the Fiend's Grip off. But the thing is, you need so many other items as well. You need a Ghost Scepter up on that Bane. That's going to be one of the most important items to get on this Bane, is a Ghost Scepter, just to be able to stop the right click going out of Lone Druid as well as Slark and Nyx. So he's going to have quite a hard time, because right now he's the main support. I mean, you got an Enigma that's going to be able to help out, but he's going to be in the jungle and just try and get as much farm as possible. So he's not going to help out in the early stages, which means that Goblak is going to be forced to just buy wards and sentries in the earlier stages.
Well, as it stands right now, AL currently stand top lane with 4 heroes. So we were talking about how their lane looks defensive, and I agree. Their heroes, they don't really do any damage. So whenever you don't have damage dealing supports, you kind of want to dodge the lane, potentially get some levels. But as it looks right now, it's going to be that Lone Druid going basically 1v1 against what is probably going to be a Darkseer. And in that matchup, both heroes just farm. So it's going to be a lot of passivity, at least in the early game. But AL aggressively laning this, I don't know if that's the right call. I mean, there's no other way I can say it. It's like so difficult to actually do anything against DD's tri-lane with their heroes. Or, well, I guess it's not really a full tri-lane, because they have an Enigma, and Enigma's actually going to be jungling on the opposite side of the map. So maybe this is the right call from AL. They basically have a 3v2 situation now top lane.
I like this decision from Bucky and Mad, though, going into the enemy jungle, because they know that with them running an aggressive tri-lane and them scouting it out, they're for sure going to go in to the jungle and just try and gank the Enigma. And Miguel actually getting Darpack level 1, so he can just cleanse that Shadow Strike, which is really good, because that's a lot of damage just negated straight away.
Yeah, he still does hurt himself a little bit, though, whenever he does that. And you can see Funzy's just trying to get as much harassment as he possibly can in. So Miguel going to be doing okay in this matchup. He's got a Stout Shield. He's actually started with pretty much all of his starting gold. Well, not actually all of it spent. He actually got pulled quite a bit, because he's got a Stout Shield and 300 gold. And that is not normal, as we like to say. But farming under the tower, not really going to be that safe once the supports of AL get a handful of levels like the Rubik and the Disruptor. Once they get up to par, they can actually start doing some damage. Like if they need to, they can put extra points into the Thunderstrike. But Miracle himself, he's actually decided to abandon the top lane. He's now roaming around towards middle lane, trying to help Miguel however he can. But what really can he do against the jungling Enigma? I think it might have just been better for him to stick around top, just to prevent that Naga Siren from feeling safe.
He stopped his clarity, which is one thing, but it's still not really doing anything special, because the supports of AL can't really do anything.
They really want to go on telekinesis back on the Silent. Looks like everything is going to be A-OK. Goblak taking quite a bit of damage himself. The open wounds is going to be there. Might have overextended just a bit. He still does have a Brain Sap. He turns around to throw it out. He will be able to get the Nightmare, but Rise might be able to get the first blood. No, the Nightmare gets switched. He wants Maney to get the kill, but Maney's not fast enough. Bane is faster, just barely, and he will be able to get away. 15.
Yeah, and really close, like you said, and just calm play, it felt like, from Goblak. Just waiting everything out, not really hesitating or doing it super fast. Silent's going to take quite a bit of damage here, and they might be able to get the first blood, whereas Goblak actually just suicided to the neutrals to be able to get back to base faster. And I believe he spent his gold, probably upgraded the courier and then suicided to neutrals instead of sending some regen out.
And Sakshka giving Miracle some hand-to-face combat here for all you Darkseer players, but he's going to be fine, just taking a little bit of harassment. He's opening up some space for the Lone Druid to farm without his bear taking a ridiculous amount of damage in the process. So instead of having to tank like the full creep wave every time, he's kind of supplementing the lane a little bit. A lot of movement so far in this early game. I mean, it's like 3 minutes, and 2 or 3 heroes have basically went from one side of the map to the other side of the map again. So not necessarily the most efficient early game that I've ever seen, but both teams just trying very desperately to get the lanes that they really, really wanted to. And top lane looks like Lifestealer is taking a little bit of damage here from Silent. But as time goes on, this Lifestealer, he's not even skilling Rage because he just realizes it's like, yeah, it's not going to matter if I get ensnared. He finally gets 1 point into it at level 4.
We've seen Mania actually likes to favor getting Feast maxed out before getting the Rage max out. Most of the times maybe because he likes to move into the jungle. But at this point, it helps him stay in the lane, of course, and just farm up a bit more. Goblack actually rotating in, but I don't think they can actually do anything here. Goblack takes quite a bit of damage from that right click, but they can't really get any pickoffs because they don't have Enigma rotating in, and the damage output of the Naga Siren early on is not that great.
Honestly, though, even in the 2v2, I have to favor DD. If you think about it, if they go on Rise, and there's even one more point into Ensnare, one more point into Riptide, which is level 5, how is the Lifestealer do enough damage to save him? I mean, you have one hero who does damage versus 2 heroes that do damage, because both the Naga Siren and the Bane have nukes. In the bottom lane, Sakshka can get rooted in place. He already popped the Surge. Is he going to be able to get back in time to level 2 glimpses there? This could potentially be the first blood. There's the Thunder Strike, and give it to AL. They managed to get a kill on the board, and if nothing else, that's got to be a little bit of a morale boost for them.
That is so good as well, just opening up the map even more for the Lone Druid to farm. Because the way that Sakshka has been playing, he's been sitting with the Iron Shells on the creeps as well as on himself and just forced his bear down all the time. I believe he's killed 2 or 3 bears already.
Oh, top
From
lane.
Unicorn.
Looks like they're trying to kill Mania right here. Rise actually breaks him out of the Nightmare, so there's not going to be another ensnare. Funzy, though, he has a haste. He wants to go for the return kill. Rise taking quite a bit of damage, and he will end up going down. So technically it's 1-1. We did see that Goblack ended up suiciding 2 neutrals to get back to the base a bit faster. So the score is pretty much all tied up. Funzy has finally made himself present on the map, and Silent continues to farm away here top with the Lifestealer.
Really nice rune. Really lucky rune for Fancy to get there, being able to get 1 kill. Like I was saying down in bottom lane, Sakshka has really been making life hard for Unicorn by actually going head to head with the Lone Druid instead of actually going behind the tower as we see most Darkseers do, because you do a lot more damage to the bear when you do this, since he can't really kill off that creep super fast.
Yeah. No, I agree. It just causing him as much hassle as possible is going to be a good thing. And interestingly enough, in most cases, a Darkseer still gets a pretty good chunk of farm, but DD's Darkseer is broke. I mean, he's got 12 CS. Even in situations where you say, yeah, the Darkseer is probably going to have to stay out of experience range, most of the time, he still maintains a pretty good level of CS because he'll either creep cut or something else. But the rotation of the supports has basically stopped him from doing that. You can't creep cut against a Disruptor because he'll see you, counter your Surge by glimpsing you back, and then you die, which is pretty much what we saw in the bottom lane for the first blood. So he's not really had the easiest early game. So he's counting on Funzy especially in that top lane and getting the most possible accomplished that they can.
Unicorn got 19 deny as well, which is really nice to have against the Darkseer, especially when he does it the way he does right now with putting the Iron Shell on the creeps. It's always good to just deny the creeps that go low, so really keeping out and stopping his farm whatsoever. Funzy's gonna blink out, and Miracle trying to get a glimpse but doesn't really have high ground vision there, so not gonna be able to be successful. And Fancy actually had an Invis rune as well.
Oh, he walks into tower range. A little bit over aggressive there by Funzy. The sentry's actually dropped. They want to try to go for it. Thunderstrike does give vision, but Miracle not high enough level to actually glimpse him back. I think he needed 1 more point to be able to get that one. That was like a perfect blink by Funzy. If he blinked any other way, he probably would have got glimpsed. You can see it's just like he was just barely out of that range. So Funzy going to be happy for the moment. And the Slark still continues to farm very well. Like, Miggle is sitting at 32-3 compared to Funzy's 35-7. The only difference, basically, is that Funzy has actually left his lane with that haste rune. We saw him go top and help secure the kill on Rise. But I got to say, man, he is doing really well in this matchup.
I'm really curious to see what Bucking Matt is going to go for on his Enigma now when he's farming in the jungle. He's getting quite some good farm, but as we see, Soshka is most likely going to go for the mechanism, which leaves a BKB open for Enigma. He's not going to need a blink since they have the Naga Siren to set up. But the thing is, he doesn't really need the BKB either. Maybe just try and rush the Lincolns, because then he can skip on getting the Rubik in the black hole. Because if the Rubik uses lift, he's going to be able to steal it, or if he loses steal, he's going to be able to lift it. But he still has to make the choice of either stealing the black hole or stopping the black hole. So it'll be very interesting to see what he actually wants to try and pick up on this Enigma.
I think BKB is the right choice. I mean, he did it in the last game. I mean, he just went straight for the BKB. He's like, yeah, I just want the magic immunity. Sure, the Fiend's Grip was still there on the other team, but it's like BKB just negates so much damage that can be dealt to you, especially out of the side from Ale. I mean, you have the Disruptor, the Rubik Fade Bolt, you have Slark, who does a pretty good chunk of magic damage himself. Bottom lane, DD, they really want to kill Unicorn right now. Funzi's going to pop the haste. They're going to go underneath the tower. The bear is still there. He's going to get spotted out straight away. TP coming in. It's actually going to be Miguel. Funzi's going to go ahead and blink away. Miguel looking for some kind of counter initiation, but he's not going to be able to find it. At the very least, they end up pushing out the tri-lane, well, not tri-lane, but 3-hero gank basically that was coming out from DD.
That's a lot of waste of time for Bucking Mad as well. Rotating down with the Enigma, not getting a black hole off and not getting a kill off. He's got 4 levels into that Malefice though, so they might be able to get Miracle here in mid if they can actually get the slow out. Nice glimpse coming out though.
Yeah, and Bucking Mad has level 3 in Malefice. He might be able to seal the deal right here. He's going to actually get stuck. Oh, not stuck by the kinetic field. Miracle solo on health. I'm not sure if the Shadow Strike will actually kill him or not. Funzi manages to blink away one more tick, and he is going to get denied. Okay, very nicely done. There are actually tangos sitting there. So if he felt confident enough, he could have walked out there and maybe saved himself. But still, getting denied, much better than giving a kill to the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, and another gank that doesn't really, or don't really go the way of DD at this point. I mean, they're trying a lot to get ganks going, but they're not getting anything anywhere, really.
You know what's really crazy about that is because I'm thinking the same thing. And then you look at the experience graph and you're like, how is this possible? In the meantime, top Silent going to be engaged on by Miguel. He actually is forced to use his ultimate straight away. Doesn't have a TP. He's going to have to pretty much walk away from this. I don't know if Miguel's going to try to pursue or not. He is a Slark, so after all, he can do this, which is basically just pounce over. And yeah, I think Silent is going to end up dropping here. So he's running for his life. His team's simply nowhere to be found, but actually Goblak is there just in time. He throws up the Nightmare, but it gets broken immediately. Goblak sacrificing himself. The Fiend's Grip is going to be there. Mania doing what damage he can. Is he really going to get away from this? The open wounds is there, but the reaction from DD is so slow. There's no one else there. Bane was the only person to save Silent right there. Funzi had his TP that whole time. Didn't use it. Sakshka didn't have his TP up, actually. He's currently fighting with Rise from Ale here on the bottom lane. But if Funzi just came to that, that was easily a kill or two.
Especially when the Nikes actually use so much mana to just chase them up. And then Miguel using his ultimate so early on as well. That could easily have been a kill, like you said, but now they just lost the hero instead. Silent, of course, surviving, which is really good for them, because Naga is going to be their hope right now. They need some good setup from Naga, and they need a Diffusal Blade up.
Funzi finding Rise in the jungle. Vacuum's going to be there from Sakshka. Riptide coming out of Silent to get the kill. Of course, the bear is actually level 4 now, so it's quite annoying. Looking for Root on Sakshka. Not going to be able to find it. Glimpse back. Actually on Funzi right into the Static Storm, but no, the Kinetic Field doesn't lock him in! The TP! Really fast, but not quite fast enough as Miracle ends up picking off the Queen of Pain. Silent going to be surged away from Mania and Unicorn. And all in all, kind of kills going back and forth here. Unicorn still standing at the top of the overall CS, sitting at 71 and 23 at just 11 minutes in.
I'm so surprised looking at the graphs though, that it's so even. It feels like AO is really controlling this game a lot better. I mean, last game it was just DD was stopping AO from going aggressive whatsoever. This game DD is trying to be aggressive all the time, but they're still finding farm. They're still finding levels, which is so surprising to me.
Yeah, their movement, you would kind of indicate not having a lead, but they've actually done a really good job of maintaining one. Silent going to be spotted out here once again, being chased down by Miguel. Bucking Mad is running around the tree, trying to stay out of vision. Maybe they want to try to turn this around for a kill. They will ensnare him in, but Miguel does way too much damage, breaks through the ensnare, gets the kill, trying to chase Bucking Mad, but the conversions will ultimately deter him. So, I mean, this game, it's looking pretty favorable right now for Ale, especially with Miguel getting that solo kill on Silent.
That is so surprising. He could easily have black hole there. Maybe they didn't expect the damage to be that high in that situation, but it was still he still hasn't used his black hole for a proper kill yet, like he did in the last game, where he just popped it straight away to be able to get a kill. And it's 12 minutes in, and I don't believe we've actually seen it once. There, it would have been an easy kill.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that decision either, but the thing is, would they have actually had the damage? Like, with Riptide and just auto attacks and a black hole, I mean, he's got 1,000 HP. That's actually quite a bit. They're going to be spotting out Goblak in the middle lane. The Static Storm's going to be there, glimpse back to the other side of the kinetic field, and Goblak's just going to casually walk up the hill, says thank you for the free ride. Ultimate coming out from Funzy. They want to try to find anyone. It could be Miracle. All his spells currently on cooldown. Kinetic field up in 1 second, and one auto attack coming out from Funzy. Rise could be playing with his life as well. He tries to go for a telekinesis, and he's going to find it on Goblak, but just in time for him to meet his end from bucking Mad. So 5-5. 2 more kills paid back here from DD, and it looks like they're going to go for the tier 1 mid while Mania TP's top to defend a tier 1 of his own.
Miguel is here though, but he can't really do anything against this. Tower's going to go down. Funzy getting the last hit. He's up to 2.1k gold right now, so we'll have to see what he wants to try and go for. Maybe go for an early Scythe of Vice. Getting the sheep against the Slark could be very big for them, but we'll have to wait and see. He picked up something right now. I believe it's actually, yeah, it is an ultimate orb. So he's going to try and rush that Scythe of Ice up and just get it out as fast as possible.
I think that's the right decision. I mean, you really want the most disable you can possibly get, especially against heroes like Lone Druid, Lifestealer, Slark to an extent. Slark is much harder to lock down because of how good Dark Pact can actually be, but you still want it just to be able to say, okay, we can focus him at this particular moment and he's just dead to rights. There's like nothing that Ael's going to be able to do to save him. So I think it's the right choice. Silent in the top lane. He's got his Tranquil Boots. He's healing himself up. And he really doesn't have much. I mean, his net worth is still looking okay. He's got 1,900 gold, but we talked about the aggressive lane potential of Ael. And honestly, the Lifestealer is sitting neck and neck with him, and I don't feel like that should be the case. And they're going to get the tier 1 for free here as well, as Mania picks up the kill.
A bit surprising to see there was no reaction.
Oh.
Nice glimpse instantly. Just getting Goblak out of that fight. He's still in mid though, so it's not too far for him to go. But one thing that I do like is that Bucky Mad actually went for a Ghost Scepter as the first item. So he's actually going to be able to go in and not just be killed before he can actually cast the Black Hole.
Yeah.
Because Miguel, as well as Mania, is just going to do so much damage.
Miguel actually teleporting towards bottom lane. We'll see if DD can actually punish this in the top woods, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Instead, they want to try to go for Sakshka. That's only level 2 Surge, and he's actually kind of juking around here, trying to dodge the pounce. Not sure if that was the best decision. Yeah, it's eventually going to land, and Sakshka kind of just giving away a kill. I feel like he would have had a much better chance if he just ran in a straight line, potentially towards that tier 1, so his team could help him out, but no TPs, and Unicorn gets a free kill. Going to be pressuring this tier 1. It's quite low at the moment. The glyph is down, and this is going to be another tower. Top lane, Miracle gets a kill on Silent as well. And AL, they are just finding the openings right now. They're getting the tower kills. They're getting the hero kills. They are systematically picking DD apart in this early game.
It really feels like DD is... They're not reacting like they did last game. Last game, they were just on top of everything. Controlling the game, reacting to everything AL did. And now they're kind of just like... They want to try and get fights, but they're not really accomplishing anything. And then they kind of just lose the mood they had, or they lose... what was I gonna say? They lose their momentum.
Yeah.
And just, like, it kind of falls apart in front of them.
It's really unfortunate because it's like... I was kind of rooting for DD, given how good they've been playing the entire day, and I feel like they're still in this best of 3. Say AL actually ends up taking this game 2, takes it to game 3. I would still say that DD should take the entire series, but just the performance that AL's had today, beating Rock's Kiss in the first game, like that was unexpected. So AL have pretty much overachieved already, in my opinion, but even taking a game off of DD right now would be huge for them. Looks like there's going to be a Roshan attempt here coming out from DD, and I say attempt, but it's more or less just going to be a kill. And he's trying to steal it with the bear. Is he actually going to get it? He didn't actually get it, unfortunately, so the bear casually walks away. Unfortunately, can't get much from it, but AL don't give it away for nothing. They do get the tier 2 top lane.
Yeah, and they're keeping pressure up, just forcing these lanes to get pushed down, just brute forcing everything down. And the question I have is, when is this Naga actually going to have an impact? He's up to 2.6k gold. Is he going to go for that diffusal, just buy it straight up? or is he going to go for something like a Radiance? A Radiance, I feel, wouldn't be as good because he really needs that extra damage output from the Diffusal.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a Radiance either. It's like, that item basically says, please don't fight us for like 15 more minutes. Let me get another item, let me get some more farm. So there's really no way, I think, that he can go for it in this case. But Ale, they're going to be pressuring the mid-tier 1. Smoke up here from DD, and they want to go in straight away. Funzy's actually going to be the one leading the charge. He does have that Aegis. Sakshka going to be eating a little bit of damage. Gets thrown back by the Glimpse. Miracle now all on his own, and Miggle is going to miss the leap pretty badly right there, and Rise ends up getting taken out. Black Hole comes out. It's on Mania. He can't do anything about it. The bear is going to be there as well. Another vacuum coming out from Sakshka. Miguel being chased down. The sentry is dropped. He will be able to get a kill on Goblak as he drops actually to the bear in the end. But yeah, that's going to be a very dead Slark. And that was the kind of team fight that DD were looking for. They managed to get Roshan. I'm not sure why AL forced that so hard. Like, they didn't need to do that.
They had such a good lead as well. I mean, it's not super big, but they still had a lead, and they were controlling the game. And now they forced the fight when they knew that DD was stronger, and just kind of lost the lead straight away. And this is going to give so much gold to this Naga Siren as well. 3.1k gold right now, 3.2 even. So we still haven't seen what he wants to go for. When you save up this much gold on a Naga Siren though, it feels like he's actually going for Radiance, just going to try and go for farming. Because he can buy the Diffusal straight off right now. Or maybe just try and rush a heart, but it's still just so much farm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards a Diffusal choice, just because it's like Naga Siren, Diffusal, Images, same reason why PL would get Diffusal. It's pretty common, I would say, but if he goes for the Radiance, AL can punish that so hard. It's like they can just run in, push towers. That Naga Siren's not going to be able to fight unless the Black Hole is there. In the last fight, the Black Hole pretty much hit one hero and a bear. And that's like a lucky Black Hole too, because the Glimpse had pretty much been used at the beginning of the fight, so Rise didn't have it up to stop the Black Hole that time. Yeah, I don't know, man. Radiance would be such a risky play and a very greedy play, I think, coming out from him.
He's picked up the Relic, so they're going to go for the Radiance. And
oh, they want to go for the fight right here. Miracle taking quite a bit of damage. He's going to get killed pretty much instantly. Funzy currently on that dominating streak. Sakshka getting rooted in place. The bear actually going to get ensnared. Mania on the back lines, trying to do what damage he can to Silent. Ends up forcing him back. Buyout coming out from Goblak. It was a current 1-for-1, but now with the buyback, it's going to be another 4 versus 5. The bash comes out from the bear. Mania gets Fiend's Grip. Very nice vacuum coming out of Sakshka. Sakshka actually going to get focused as well. Miggle being able to pick up the double. Can they actually finish him off here? Another sentry is dropped. Silent doesn't have enough mana. The Dark Pact is there. The Scream of Pain does make contact, but look at how fast he heals when he's inside of his ultimate, even walking past that sentry for a split second, and he's still... Oh, he gets a regen too. That's like redundancy at its finest.
Really good fight from DD there, managing to pick off the Lifestealer once again, which is really nice for them. And, I mean, I really don't know what to feel about this Radiance pickup, because they just want to farm for 30 more minutes.
Yeah.
At least, or 20 more minutes.
Yeah, they can do that, but it's like, you would really rather see them fight, you know? It's like, fight for your right, Wetboss. You gotta fight for your right to go to TI3, and I feel like this is just avoiding the fight. This is like, I want to get a Radiance and sit around for like 20 more minutes, maybe potentially pick up a Manta and a Heart, and then try to fight. But we saw how fast Mania chewed through Silent in that last fight. He just popped Rage, and Silent had to run. Like, there was nothing else that he could do. He used Ensnare on the bear. He couldn't get back into the fight. And even with the Soul Ring, it's like you're hurting yourself even more. He just has, like, no teamfight potential. Sure, they can turtle it out really hard with Song of the Siren and such, and you can just take it as long as you need to, but I don't feel like they needed to play it that way.
I mean... Sorry.
No, that's okay. I understand. Trust me.
Yeah.
But still. I mean, AL, they're looking to be in a pretty good position. Funzy, he's been able to make pretty good use of the Aegis thus far. Miggle's actually going to spot out Silent and middle, and the bash is going to be there, and they entangle. Very nice Nightmare to buy in some time. Can he actually live through this? No, it actually buys time for the Static Storm to come out from Disruptor. So Silent gets picked off straight away. There was nothing he could do about that, just completely locked in place. being forced to buy out. Funzy goes in. He gets the combo off on a Miracle. Not quite enough damage to secure a kill. Actually gets glimpsed back after the blink. First hit root on Sakshi. He's not going to be able to help Funzy. He's still all on his own. Is he going to be able to do anything to help his team chase? He's still just blinking into the enemy. He really wants to try to make something happen here. And Tangle holding him in place for a bit longer. His Aegis is going to be going down. Yeah, he just wants mana. He's going to be like, yep, I need mana. Gonna run away. Make sure I resurrect in a safe place. But still, it's like, this game is so close, especially in the game 2. This is when AL really, really have to make something happen. And they've been trying. I mean, they're looking for openings, but even when they get a kill, it's like DD, they can just buy back, they can extend the game. I'm just not sure if extending the game for DD in this fashion is going to be the best idea, because still, Radiance, man, I really don't know about that pickup.
It was still a very nice kill to get the Naga, forcing a buyback and then just stopping the Radiance from coming up. And with him going for the Radiance, he's going to be forced to get at least 2 more items before he's actually going to do anything in these fights, because Lone Druid is already super tanky. You got the Knights who are super tanky, and if they don't have sentries for the ultimate of the Slark, he's just going to regen the Radiance damage anyways.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, actually for AL, is that Funzy now has a Hex. So Miggle, he's got his BKB, which is pretty much his core item. So both the mids have like their core, what they absolutely need to be able to get into a fight and secure a kill. So it's going to be nice actually to be able to Hex the Disruptor straight away and just be able to kill him, or maybe even Mania. If you get lucky enough, you can follow it up with something like a Fiend's Grip or a Black Hole or whatever follow-up that you actually have in mind. It's just nice to be able to isolate one hero and be able to pick them off if you're Funzy, because now it's not like buying an Orchid where somebody can try to TP away from you. If you get caught by yourself, he just will kill you.
Especially if he can get level 16 up now. That would be very good for him, just being able to pick off the Disruptor or the Rubik before the fight starts. If they can pick off any of the 2 supports, it would be super good for him.
Yeah, tier 2 ends up going down bottom lane. Unicorn gets the kill. He's got 3,000 gold on him right now. He's just using his bear, doing what he can. Bears don't care, by the way, if anybody didn't know that. But he's got the Basher, he's got the Armlet and the Phase Boost, the Orb of Venom, pretty standard stuff so far coming out of him. I'm not sure if he wants to go for an AC next, or if he wants to go for a Hyperstone and maybe like an MKB, go for a little bit more kills, and Bruno with the update there. Thank you, Bruno. I read that and I was like, am I just that tired? But apparently I'm not. Apparently I was just a little bit bunged. But it's 11 to 11 at 25 minutes in between these two teams, and DD currently have a 1-game lead, but Ale is definitely making this second game a fight for them.
It's a super even game at this point, and it's just that if Unicorn goes for an AC right now, they should be able to push the base quite easily, because what do they actually have to stop the push? I mean, the bear is just super tanky, and they have the ultimate from Queen of Pain, of course, and then they can get the setup, but you can just have the bear stand on the tower and just keep on hitting it, and they can't really do anything about it.
Well, we'll see. Miguel actually looking for a kill here on Funzy. Not sure if he's going to find it. He will be able to spot Funzy out for the moment, but he blinked away. He's going to go ahead and teleport out. He'll be fine for the moment. And now he's going for a BKB of his own. Kinetic Field going to be there to notice that Funzy is no longer in the vicinity. But I'm kind of with you. It's like, AL, this is their window. They don't want to let the game go that much longer, because you're giving the opportunity for Silent to get another item. And he can't fight with just a Radiance. Heck, he doesn't even have the Radiance. Well, he does now. He just picked it up. But still, a 26-minute Radiance on a safe lane farming Naga? I mean, that's not even mediocre. That's not even, like, close. It's just really, really late. So, if anything, I feel like the Diffusal would have allowed him to actually participate in these fights a little bit better, even if it's just to help somebody chase. It doesn't have to be a damage item per se. It can get you a little bit of breathing room, and it can also help you chase down kills. So, a lot of this game going to be down to how well this Naga Siren can farm in the next 10 to 15 minutes if AL don't apply enough pressure, which they got to know they have to. Like, if they wait it out, then what DD's game plan is going to succeed, which is just split farm everywhere with the Naga Siren images, because she has that Radiance, and just accumulate money.
With the map control that AL got, they should just go as soon as they get another item.
Oh, bottom lane, Funzy, long distance glimpse. He's going to be pretty sad about this. Mid animation in the blink, and he ends up dropping. So Unicorn gets yet another kill, and AL, they are not willing to let this best of 3 go to a 2-0. They are trying desperately to bring this to a game 3.
No buyback on the Queen of Pain. It's just a 40-second cooldown though, or a respawn. But the AC is almost up on the Lone Druid, so they can just go for a 5-man push in mid, or just get Roche right now.
And Miguel farming up here middle too in the meantime. He's got quite a bit, actually. His net worth is higher than the Queen of Pain that he was against middle, so that matchup actually went pretty well for him. And it seems like every time he gets this hero, they win. At least today. We'll have to get Bruno's stats on that, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Yeah, got the thumbs up, so we're good to go. But still, DD not out of the game by any stretch. They have the potential to let it go on. But AL, they're not really making it an issue either. It feels very similar to when AL played against Roxkiss, and it's like one team should have map control, but they really don't have map control, and they're not able to force you out of your own jungle, and the other team still continues to farm relatively unobstructed. I feel like AL is the one who needs to be applying some pressure. Maybe even just get the last tier 2, because mid is still standing. When that tower dies, it's a lot easier to take over your opponent's jungle.
Another thing that's very like the game when they played against Roxkiss, AL that is, they don't have any wards whatsoever at this point. They've pushed pretty much every tower except for the tier 2 mid, but the only wards they have is by the Ancients of DD. And that's not enough to be able to get pick-off kills or just go for a push in mid. It's far from enough for that.
Well, looks like a fight could be happening here. Oh no, that was horrible timing on the Hex right there, and the Sleep. Miguel now going to be completely unobstructed during this fight. The Black Hole is going to be there. Rise, Miracle, both stuck in place. It still might be enough to be able to let DD win this fight. 2 down straight away. Both supports actually melting. It looks like Darkseer and Bane both going to drop in the meantime. Miguel doing amazing damage. There's just not enough in the tank for DD to take the fight. The wasted Hex in the beginning. Mania lives through that fight with basically no health whatsoever. They focus the supports, and they just get melted by Unicorn, Mania, and Miguel. Like, the tri-carry right now of AL just massacred that fight.
I can understand why they went for a Black Hole on the 2 supports. There is no BKB up on this Enigma. He's got a Necro 3 instead, which is good, because they get the vision of the Slark once he gets into ultimate. But Miguel just popped his BKB and just ripped through everybody.
Yeah.
He just killed everybody. Like, they couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, I'm really kind of confused. Like, if they just killed Miguel, like if they just got the Black Hole on maybe him and just killed him or didn't sleep straight away, then I think it would have been okay. But the Hex didn't do anything at all. Like, the Hex was just complete waste. They tried to catch him out. If they just got a decent combo off on him and maybe forced him out of the fight, bought him some time, Mania lived through that fight with basically no health, at least it would have been a better trade. But now they lose Roshan. They lost the fight pretty badly. And now AL just seems to be in a much more dominant position, and the net worth is reflecting that right now. You can see the top 3. It's Lifestealer, Slark, and Lone Druid. And the Golden Experience graph, pretty ugly. The Experience more so ugly than the Gold.
This is going to be so tough for DD just because of that Radiance pickup from the Naga Siren. Going for Diffusal into Mantisile or Diffusal into Heart probably would have done a lot more damage, because, like we pointed out, every hero, or the core heroes on AL right now, are just so damn strong.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what DD can do about this. It's going to be an Aegis push into the tier 2. AL looking to be very, very well positioned in game number 2 to take it to a game number 3. So I think this is going to be the second time today we've had a game, or a best of 3 at least, going distance. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, AL, they've proven that we've underestimated them, like time and time again. Right now they're proving it again against DD, who were like favored to make it out of the entire thing, like just qualify. People were thinking that going into it, especially other pro teams. So AL just proving everybody wrong right here. They're like, you know what? We're taking it to a game 3. Even if they don't win, still got to give them props for their performances today.
DD, just going to see if they can wait it out, get the Black Hole up. Black Hole is up in 20 seconds, so they could still get a nice fight going if they can get a good setup stun with the sleep. But it's just going to be very, very hard for them.
AL still hanging around. And Mania actually went for a Helm of the Dominator, by the way. Not something we commonly see on Lifestealer. Does allow him to go for a Satanic if he really wants to. And the Midnight Pulse, the Bear's actually taking quite a bit of damage. Looks like it's going to be dropping here, but I guess AL is okay to just submit it to death, just to apply a little bit of pressure to the tower. But not having the second Bear, that's going to be the key for AL to just back off. They're not going to push it too hard, which it's really difficult to push into that choke if you're AL, because your combo on DD becomes that much stronger when you're in an enclosed space, when you give them the opportunity to maybe hit 3 or 4 heroes with a Black Hole and the Naga Siren Sleep. So playing it cautiously, I think that's okay, especially considering how farmed the Unicorn is right now. Funzy and Sakshka currently running through the woods. They want to try to find somebody. It looks like it's going to be Rise. He gets the Hex. He's looking for a free pick, but the Disruptor is here. Can they actually stop it in time? The Vacuum's going to be there from Sakshka. The Fiend's Grip as well on the Miracle. They're going to be able to take him down, but in the meantime, Mania, he kills Funzy. Looks like the ensnare's there, but he actually goes inside of the bear. He wants to get back into the fight as soon as he can, and it looks like Miggle's here with the BKB. Bucking Mad trying to TP away, but Miggle going to be able to do the damage necessary to take him out, and that's another 2 for 1. The Disruptor actually buys back, and he glimpsed Silent back into a trap. Unbelievable. Very, very nicely timed. Goblak going to be able to get out of the fight, thankfully, but DD with the desperation right there. They went for the smoke. They were looking for picks just to get some relief from the onslaught that has been AL this game, but they simply can't find it.
They don't have anything to stop this push going in. They still got Aegis up on Unicorn, and he's going to have a double bear in 50 seconds, or 40 seconds, but this one bear is still going to do a lot of damage.
AL gets the melee racks, excuse me, and the range racks going to be dropping as well. Tier 3 going to be under siege, and I think this is almost GG right here. I mean, it's like, even if Silent comes back up, they don't have sleep, so how are they going to set up a black hole? It's double racks easily, and this looks like AL making it a game 3.
Yeah, AL playing really convincingly this game, just stopping the aggression of DD. DD trying to force fights all the time, getting pickoffs, and AL not getting caught out. That was pretty much the biggest thing in the early game, not getting caught out whatsoever.
Miggle right now, he's got an Abyssal Blade just done. Like he just bought a Skull Basher. It's weird though, because he goes for the Relic before he goes for the Basher. That's like backwards, because the Basher's actually cheaper, gives you Bash, but hold on. Bugging Mad, getting caught out once again. He pops the Ghost Scepter. Miggle with the Pounce in. He didn't find what he wanted, but he does Abyssal Blade Goblak, and Goblak actually gets bashed. The Black Hole's going to be there, immediately canceled by the Static Storm, and this looks to be the bitter end for DD in game number 2. Bucking Mad calls the GG, and AL, they're taking it to a game 3. The team that we considered the lowest in the entire group just beat, well, at least in a 1 game, and the best of 3, one of the favorites for the entire group.
They're still just causing upsets on upsets at this point, and yeah, AO just playing it so very well.
I still can't get the Radiance choice. I mean, we'll talk to Bruno and James about it in a second, but it's like, of all the items, why Radiance? Like, why Radiance against a Lone Druid, a Slark, and a Lifestealer? Those are 3 heroes that could not care less about Radiance Burn. I mean, if you want to farm, fine. But Lone Druid is a great pusher. He can punish low HP heroes. He can walk his bear into the tower, just sacrifice it basically if he wanted to. I mean, Unicorn actually did that when they were trying to crack the base. It's like, I don't know. For me, I don't feel like DD played DD Dota this game.
Especially when they lost so much map control as well. They lost both the towers in top, which means that they don't actually have control over their own jungle. Which means you can't really utilize the Naga Siren's Radiance farm completely, because you're not going to be able to farm all the camps all the time. So it was just a weird pickup. It feels like a Diffusal Blade would have been a lot better, and then maybe into Heart or a Manta style. But we went for the Radiance, didn't really work out, and we're going to go into game 3.
Well, once again, well played by Absolute Legends here, winning game number 2. And as always, we have James, Too Good Harding, and Bruno. You feel better now, James? I'm glad.
I think the big talking point, you nailed it. It's the item choice of Silent on the Naga Siren, the Radiance. Now, did Silent play the Luna in the previous matchups?
Yeah.
Because before going into this game, I was like, DD haven't made a mistake. The only mistake you could possibly say they made was when Luna went into the tier 3 top base and had his BKB at home. Item choice, item choice was correct, not having the items was incorrect. Silent this game, holy moly. Like, you're playing a Naga Siren and you want to get Radiance.
26 minutes.
Have you not seen this Slark play? The whole point of this Slark is it will scout you. It will try and find you. you know, it doesn't. The Slark doesn't waste time. It's not a hero that has downtime because even when it runs, you know, a little bit around your jungle, it's so hard to just kill. Like even if you see it, like you see Slark and Slark sees you, any other hero, majority of the time, unless it's like Queen of Pain with a blink, would be like, okay, boom, we got to kill. Slark can poke around, which just makes your jungle and the whole top area of the map unsafe. So the Radiance pickup versus their heroes didn't make any sense at all. I would love to have seen, as you mentioned, a Diffusal. Hell, Sand and Yasha would have been a better pick.
I told you, man, best item in the game.
But
Best
like
item.
even going into like a BKB or something afterwards, because you can get a Diffusal. It's it's like what 3,300 gold. So it's okay in cost, and buying a BKB over time isn't so bad. And even though you're up against a black hole, it's still pretty good against the
They had the
Disruptor and sorry.
They had the black hole.
No. Yes. You're right. But going up against the Disruptor ulti and all this other stuff, it's like that. You do want this item.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a, of course.
No, they don't have a black hole.
Thank you.
They have.
If you have a BKB, you pretty much make these two supports completely useless, unless they steal your black hole.
So they could have a black hole. Saved me.
There you go.
We're a team. So just wrong item pickups. And that fight by Roshan, no coordination. They throw a sheep. It's like, if you throw a sheep and you don't get to use it in a big team fight, you've just wasted, like, how much does that item cost? Like, what, 5,000 gold, roughly?
Almost 6,000.
Yeah, so you've just wasted, like, the most expensive item and probably the best item to be able to pick off a kill, gone, because Silent popped his ultimate, which was completely
He just
not
wanted
necessary.
to sing a love song to Slark. You know, Slark and Naga, these two guys have a story.
I thought Slark was chasing Naga,
Yeah,
but
and Naga is like, I'll sing so you just stop following me.
maybe she shut him down, and then Slark was like playing hard to get, and Naga wanted him back.
Now
We'll have to look into this.
all I can think of is that slimy fishy sex.
Tide's watching.
Yeah,
Very nice.
awkward.
You put it out there, man. It's only awkward if you make it awkward.
Yeah. No, but it's awkward in my head.
And that's our analysis for game 2.
Brilliantly
Slimy,
done.
fishy sex.
I'm doing
a
Stage's
one-
job right now, so forgive me.
Okay, that's all right. So what we should really talk about, though, is the fact is that Absolute Legends have tied up the series 1-1, which now means that the next game will guarantee you out of the first group. You will not play tomorrow. You will go first place in your group, which means you get the best seed from Group A, which
Yes.
will play the person
Second
that comes
seed.
out second from Group B, which is day 3 and day 4 of the qualifiers. And it's up for grabs. So this is huge. Like if you win this, all kind of stress is gone. You get to kind of go away. You get to watch tomorrow. You get to refocus. You get to watch the other group, and you get to come back and play on the 4 final teams. And it's all based off this one game and a $1.9 million
Already
qualifier.
1.92, so it's going up and up and up.
Yeah.
Really
So
fast.
it's a huge matchup. I'm really impressed with AL with what they did. They once again, like as I mentioned, wanted to see him go unconventional to play versus DD. They did that. It worked out. Now, DD's turn to reply.
Yep.
And I got a feeling. Oh, sorry. I was going to say Trent was a respect ban, Trent Protector. I think Slark's going to be
Well,
the respect
Slark
ban.
was banned in the first game. That's
Yeah.
why AL didn't pick him. But
They're gonna
I mean,
ban it again.
Yeah, they're going to ban it.
yeah, they're gonna ban it again.
I think so as well.
But yeah, I think it's going to stop them from get Slark. And without Slark, AL hasn't found any kind of decisive game style. I mean, they lost against Rockskies when they didn't pick Slark. They lost versus DD when they didn't pick Slark. They'll have to find something different. Maybe, I mean, if you can't get Slark unless you can just get a hero that has a high impact in game and just come roam around and get kills, which there are not that many right now because mid is mostly Magnuses and Queen of Pains these days, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to see. So, still going to favor DD to come out on top. The Slark Lone Druid composition is really interesting in terms of how that plays out, just controlling the map.
Yes.
But we'll have to see. And Andy is currently making sure the team's getting game.
Everybody's sorted. Everything's fine. We're good.
Remember
Sounds
to
good.
tell the
You're
teams,
goddamn right, Andy.
Whoever wins this jumps on an interview.
Jumps what?
The interview. I
Okay,
told them
yes,
already,
yeah,
but just like they will forget because they're teams, and teams forget.
Tell the team managers.
I tell the team managers.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Well, I hope you guys have been enjoying the show thus far. The games have
Yeah.
been great, so we couldn't have asked.
If you don't like
anything more.
anything, just feel free to make any suggestions, feedbacks. You can go to our subreddit. You can go to our webpage.
You're opening Pandora's box.
Yeah, I know, but I like Pandora's box.
What did you find in there?
Lust. That's one of the things that wasn't there before Pandora's box.
Really?
Yeah, everyone was so happy.
I don't
and
know
just
the story really
peaceful.
of Pandora's box, but I guess maybe we should just go to a break.
Yeah, I mean it's time for a break. Just
Yeah.
a tiny little.
Just for a second, just to see how it feels.
Yep.
You sure?
Just